Downton Abbey, Season 1, Episode 1, Part 1. Right away, I was deeply taken with this show. I came in a couple years in after it was premiered. I heard all the buzz. I was like, oh, what's this show about? Now I understand. It's a solid show. It's a highbrow soap opera. Right away, we're learning about the majestic Downton Abbey, the castle life, how it all works. The introduction to all the major players in this pilot, the upstairs people, the downstairs people. The plot of this episode is about change. The Titanic has sunk. The inheritors of Downton, the male inheritors of Downton, have died in the boat. So they need to find the male heir, who is some distant cousin, Matthew, who we're going to learn a lot about. But it tells you, it's a setup, one of the themes of Downton about feminism, where Mary and the two other sisters are not the person who's going to inherit Downton because they are female, and the rules of the English language is that the family fortune needs to be a male heir. So here is this problem where a lot of the money of Robert, who is the runner of the Duke of Downton Abbey, is the only reason Downton is alive is because he married an wealthy American who put money in Downton. Now all that money is going to go to a distant relative heir and not Mary, who is the oldest child of the family. It's kind of crazy. So it's all about the customs of the past, about where the future is going to be held, and like this silly law that everybody's questioning in this show. Of course, the theme, physically, is the times of changing, as the lights are being brought into the room, electricity. All the old school people don't like it at all because they're used to one thing. It's just showing because we know that Downton's doomed because these castles don't exist anymore, and we know it's doomed eventually. But we love this kind of innocent time that we're in 1912, knowing that. As an audience member, we know that certain developments are going to happen in the future. Mainly, World War I is coming up. The first character that we're introduced to is Bates going in a train to Downton Abbey, and Bates is the moral. He is a valet who is a little bit crippled. He is the moral of the show. He's a man that I love. He's one of my favorite characters in TV history, and we're going to know who this guy is through the episodes. The hierarchy of the downstairs in Downton of the servants or slaves. The butler is the head. Then you have the head housekeeper. So they're almost like husband and wife, the butler and the head housekeeper. Then you have the valet who takes care of... Bates takes care of Robert, the Duke. He takes care of them, so he's his personal valet. Then you have footmen who basically do all the grunt works, like the maids who do all the grunt work, and then you have the cooks downstairs as well. Both of these people, upstairs and downstairs, are plotting in the world that they're in. Of course, immediately you think that it's better to be upstairs than downstairs, but it's kind of showing the moral fiber of both worlds and how they both have their ups and downs. And at the same time, the three sisters, their only jobs are to find husbands, which is kind of crazy. And for the people downstairs, either they're ambitious and they want to move up the ranks and become valets and butlers, or head valet, the female valet head maids. But there are some people who are not as ambitious. So it's almost like capitalism in many ways. There's the ambition and there's the not so ambitious. And with that ambition becomes a lot of different things. It's about moral integrity, about people plotting. So we're going to learn all these little things in the future Downton. But right away, deeply love this show right away. That's my review.